learned so many new things. Like me personally, I've learned how to eat vagina better. I've
Mm-hmm.
learned that there's not only the G spot, that there's multiple other spots in the vagina that you can stimulate. I've explored with my body as far as like going to like sex parties and different things like that. And it's just been a lot of fun. And we've built like this community of people that give a space for men to really speak in depth and detailed about how they like to have sex or how they feel about sex. And it also, on the other hand, gives a space for men to finally understand and get into the mind of what men are thinking. And has been able to help both parties with their sexual experiences.
That's
So
dope.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Not only it sounds all educational, right? But we also
Yeah.
have a lot of fun. We're very entertaining. And then we've even taken it up a notch and created a whole show where we now have a OnlyFans for the
Mm-hmm.
podcast, and we will film like live content, live adult content while we're recording. So
Wow.
yeah, it's been a very interesting time. We are about to hit a year in March. March will make 1 year since we've been doing this, and we've
Wow.
had so much fun and built such a great community of people that really fuck with us.
Yeah, I saw some of your snippets and I was like, oh my God, that looks like so much fun.
It is.
How do you find these people?
Um, before I'm very personable. Tahoe is also very personable and well known. So we just ask people. This is really just it's really just that simple.
Is it?
We just go on social media. People, I'm a very genuine and organic person. I always mean well, so I will always just ask if they will be interested. They know that I come with good intention, and just based off of that, when you're a genuinely
Yeah.
nice person, you're good to people, people will
Hmm.
fuck with you, and they will go out their way to to do whatever it is that you may ask. And then on top of that, we like to promote everyone. We like
Yeah.
to promote and broadcast everyone, if as long as they feel comfortable, and we always make everybody feel comfortable, consensual, and safe.
How did you guys come up with this idea in the first place?
um I work with Tahoe on his other podcast named So Shameless.
Hmm.
And just from working with him on that podcast, we've gotten closer. I started an OnlyFans on January in 2020, and that OnlyFans was basically about me using male sex toys to spread awareness, comfort, and education about male sex toys, in hopes that men would understand their different ways to please themselves, understand their sexuality better, which would then translate into them understanding women, and how to please women better and women's sexuality better, and that would in some way build a better understanding between men and women within their relationships, which has happened.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah, which has happened because at first people were like, I still don't know about a man using sex toys, and then after a while, I kept doing these reviews. I kept getting sex toys from my sponsor, Erotic Boudoir,
Hmm.
and I would use all these different sex toys, do these reviews, tell them how great it is, tell them like how it pleases you, how to use it, what's the purpose of it, everything like that. And after a while, men would hit me up, women would hit me up because they want to get a gift for their boyfriend, husband, or whoever. And then I would even do podcasts, and couples would hit me up and ask like, what do you think would be good for both of us to use? So you'll have your solo toys, your partner
Hmm.
toys, and it's just a great way to explore. So with everybody coming over and asking me these questions and things going so well, Tahoe seeing me do that and how comfortable I am with my sexuality, how comfortable I am with talking and going into detail about these things, he was like, yo, we should both start a podcast together about a space for men to talk about sex,
Hmm.
and not just us talking about sex in the realm of like just conquering women and just like, oh yeah, I fucked her, I did this to her, but really going into detail or really going into understanding of why we feel certain types of ways when we have sex, not just the physical, but also the emotional and mental part of sex. And since we've been doing that, we've helped a lot of men understand that there's more to sex than just using a woman like to masturbate. And that's the term that we just call it for when you're not really doing anything to please her. You're just using this person as
Right.
a way to just come or get a nut off. And there's more
Right.
to it than that.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting that there's a space for men, because there's a lot of times where we don't talk about what men need to know or what they need from other men, right? It's always
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
women sitting here saying he didn't do this and he don't do that, and, da, 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 and
Hmm.
not really saying like, okay, well, did this person get an opportunity to learn this? Where did they get this information from? How
Hmm.
was it received? When? How old were they? A lot of times we learn about sex from our friends at school, or from the internet. So really,
Yeah.
I think creating a space for men, and then what's even nicer for me about your podcast is it creates a space of from men of color, which
Yeah.
allows us to, as some way, let our guard down a little bit and not feel like somebody's talking at you, but somebody's talking with you.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a difference when people are receptive, because like some men like, no, I don't want to hear that shit,
Hmm.
but when it's somebody that looks like them and talks like them and walks like them, it's like, oh, that's my nigga, he mad cool. Then it's like, all right, I'm open to hear what
Yeah.
somebody has to say or what somebody has to teach me. So I think that
Mhm.
that's really important. What do you
It's for
think
the
some
culture.
women, huh?
It's for the culture.
Yeah, yeah. And we need that. We need that. Like our
Yeah.
culture needs to see more healthy ways of communicating, more healthy ways of learning, more healthy ways of loving, more healthy ways of sex, so that they could be receptive to that. But they're not receptive from someone. It's just like teaching. Like you're not gonna learn from somebody you don't feel comfortable learning from.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it's the same concept there. My issue as a podcaster is women don't listen to me.
Okay.
I have more men listeners than women listeners. And I have women that listen, but I feel like they don't listen. Like if I tell you
Mhm.
he said he don't want to be in a relationship, a woman won't listen to me. She'll be like, no, I don't understand what you mean. You just hating, da 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 da. Why would I listen to you? You're single. And I'm like, but if a man tells them, they
Mhm.
listen, which is really, it's not a difficult situation to be in. I don't care anymore, but I do see it. So what are some things you think women need to know when it comes to dealing with men and sex and communicating what he needs, not so much what she needs? She knows how to communicate what she needs.
Mhm.
About him communicating what he needs. What do women need to know to be ready to receive that information?
What do women need to know? Um, I think that and this may even go what men need to know also, but for really to if we're talking about the women, I think they need to know that sex is an equal exchange. Not only with it emotionally and mentally, but with the physical and with the effort that you put in. So I think one of the things that really we get asked a good amount of times is like, what is good pussy? Like it's from the women. They'll ask like, what makes good pussy?
Right.
And one of the things I would say for me is the effort that's put
Mhm.
in. So if you're just a person that wants to, want the man to be in control and you just want to be told what to do, and then hopefully you get an orgasm and then or you can come, then you're
A pillow
you're not
pimp?
really you're not really in a race that you could win,
Right.
because if you yourself don't know how to come, how can then you expect somebody else to know what makes you come? And then on top of that, they're just supposed to come in and guess. So there has to be a better line of communication to men. Excuse me. There has to be a better line of communication to men, um, with what pleases you. Don't feel like you have to be silent in the bedroom. And there also has to be an effort. So he's on top of you, he's throwing you in a different position, he's just humping away. That shit is tiring.
Right.
Especially you start getting up in age, like you're not young anymore. When you're young, you don't have the experience, and then when you get the experience, you don't necessarily always have the energy.
Right.
So you have to learn more about your body first and then have a healthy line of communication. And I trust me, I know it's not easy because niggas do not listen. Men do not listen. It's hard to get across to us. But if you yourself don't know how to come, how to orgasm, how to squirt, how to do whatever pleases your body, it's not gonna be translated well to your partner. So I would say you have to learn your body first before you can communicate and translate that to your partner. But also, if you really want to have a good sexual experience, you have to also understand that this is an equivalent exchange of energy, and you have to put in some effort. You can't just be sitting there and just taking dick and then just like hoping like, oh, maybe this is gonna work. Like, you're slimming your chances of having a good sexual experience if you would just open up and communicate a little bit more, and also know your body more, what pleases you.
I think there's two things we need to touch on here. I think one is the communication part. I
Very,
think um I think so. So I've been in a relationship where the sex was not good, in my opinion, and
very.
I did not know. This is a honest God truth, and somebody probably gonna try to come knock my head off. But anyway,
Mhm,
I did not know how to verbalize what I needed
mhm,
without feeling like I was going to hurt this person's feelings. And so that was the Karen in me now would be like, fuck it, I'm gonna just say what I gotta say, and that's that.
yeah,
But at that time in my life, I did not know how to say that. So how does like a woman communicate like this is what I need? Because some men walk around with a lot of ego, like, nah, I know what to do. I'm gonna do this to you, and you're just like, bro, that hurts.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So how does a woman communicate that without, like, I'm not trying to break up with you. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just trying to tell you that, like, this is what we need to do.
Well, first you could start by that by saying, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just trying to let you know this is what we need to do. But also, I think what it's gonna work well is by letting men know that let's switch it up and do it this way because it's gonna please both of us.
Mhm.
So, uh, unfortunately, women have the short end of the stick where men really more so think about their own pleasure. You get the few men that like really think about the women first, but a lot of men think about their own pleasure. So if you kind of do an inception move and you make them feel like, hey, you want to be the person that pleases me the best. If you want to stroke his ego and make him feel like, yo, you want to be that nigga, then this is what you should do. Let's try it this way. Let's
Right.
move it this way. Put it this way. Stroke it like this. And this is what's gonna make me tell you, like, yo, this pussy is yours. Like,
Yeah.
so you gotta work within their ego also to get your way. And to be honest with you, that's the same thing I do for women, because I know sometimes women are so attentive to like how they're pleasing men that if they're not doing it good, they kind of sometimes shut down.
Mhm.
So I try to just speak to them in a way that guides them, makes them feel good about like what they're doing. If they're not doing it the way I like it, I'll just try to guide them, be like, oh baby, I like when you do that, but do it like this too. Oh yes, right there. And then
Right.
I'll react to that, give
Coaching.
give a reaction just so they can know like, yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah, I think more people need to think about that, and that needs to almost be like something we do second nature.
Hmm.
To your comment where you said, well, how do I know what good pussy is? I do think that women tend to think that that's something that's physical or tangible, right? And so in a woman's mind, she's like, well, what's the difference between mine and somebody else's when you say what good pussy is? She's not understanding that that's an emotional thing. That's your passionate thing. That's you coming in here and being sexy and confident and passionate and wanting to be here and make the effort. I don't think a lot of women understand that. In their mind, it's like, all right, well, how do I get some good pussy? Do I order it off Amazon? Do I run? Do I drink some water? They're thinking that it's a physical, tangible, like thing, not knowing that, like, nah, 80% of that is just like your confidence and the effort that you're making in this space right now, the sexual
Exactly.
tension, the attentiveness,
Mm.
the the moaning, the listening to my voice. Like a lot of women don't understand that. But like I said, when I be telling them, they don't be listening to me because they be like, no, I'd rather take advice from a man. And I'm like, bro, but I'm telling you the same shit he just told you.
Yeah, because if you have the other girl who she's coming in, she's she's giving head without even a dude asking. She's
Is
she's
that like
really
a thing though? Do guys really have to ask?
yeah,
Asking for a friend.
yeah.
Do you
We be having ass.
really?
Yeah, I hate it.
I feel like that like should come standard. That's just my opinion. Not standard with a stranger. Like
Mhm.
if you just met some dude and like I'm not judging you. I understand you don't want to put his dick in your mouth. You gonna put it in your pussy, but that's a whole nother story. But
Yeah,
I just feel at some level, like at certain age and certain level of relationship, that should just almost be like y'all are adults.
exactly. And I agree, but it doesn't always happen that way. Not every woman just feels like they want to just go out and do it. And especially, and not only like asking, but I love surprise head when it's like I just didn't see it coming, and you
Yeah,
just want to do it because you enjoy it so much. That
yeah.
shit is amazing. It's the
Yeah, I don't understand women with that. I was like, if I knew, look, you got a secret weapon to bring a man to his knees. Pull that shit out.
well,
It's just
not everybody has the weapon. Some people just, you know, have a tool.
okay, but like, they got classes for that. They got toys for that. Like, there's really not that
Not
much.
everybody knows. Not everybody knows that the resources out there. Everybody's life is different. So I mean, I understand, but I think that it's really the effort that you got to put in. Because yeah, like I said, if one woman is coming through and she's just giving dude surprise head, she's not only letting him hump her the whole time, but she's getting on top. She's grinding. She's like talking to him while like they're having sex. Then everybody's gonna be like, "Yo, she's got good pussy."
Right.
But
Because
it's
it's an
because she's doing,
experience.
yeah, because she's giving an experience to
Right.
this person. Um, so so there are moments where a woman's vagina just feels that amazing. But and then there are times where like if you keep your diet well, your pH well, you get wet enough, if you don't, if you can take it, or if you like the same positions as the other person. And then there's always love and like. If the guy likes you or loves you, or if you're a new pussy, that can go into it also.
Right.
So there are so many different factors that can make you have good pussy. Like six guys can say you have good pussy, and then four guys can say like it's just average. So
Right.
it's different depending on like who the message is coming from. But
Right.
if you really want to have like that standard that you have that good pussy, then I would say put in the extra effort. Get on top. Like oil your knees before you about to have sex and get on top. Make sure you're throwing it back. Make sure you're communicating so like y'all both optimize on this pleasurable experience.
Right. Well, I'm big on sex as an exchange, a transfer of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so your experience is going to be whatever that energy is in that cycle. So if you're not putting your energy out there, then, you know, and it doesn't, it's not about being in a relationship or necessarily being in love. It's just two people being in that space and being present and wanting to have that experience with each other,
Right.
but I think there's a lot of hangups. I think people walk in with baggage. I do. I think women are sitting there thinking like, I know when I was younger, it was like, well, how do I look and what do I feel and what does my face look like? And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And now that I'm a little older now I'm a little bit more seasoned. I'm like, fuck all that, let's go. But I
Mm-hmm.
do think women carry that with them. And so their head is not in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's also this society with men, like men are supposed to lead in the bedroom. And so, for women, even now, like me talking about sex, people are like, oh my God, you talk about sex. I'm like, well, your mama had sex. That's how you got here.
Yeah.
But it's just being able to be open and kind of embrace that, I think is difficult sometimes for some women. And they don't know how to do that. And that's a confidence thing. That's not something, I could really tell you how to get other than being confident in yourself and
Exactly.
being like, you know,
Exactly. You want
um,
to feel like you got good pussy?
you got
Have
to walk
the
and talk.
confidence like you do. Walking like you do.
Yeah. Do you think men are intimidated by vibrators?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I
That's
think
not
they
the answer I thought you were gonna say.
no, I think they do, but I think it's an unreasonable intimidation. I feel like um men pride and egos are so big that they want to be the sole one. Everybody wants to be the leader of the pack.
Right.
But what they don't realize is vibrators, dildos, sex toys aren't a replacement. They're an attachment. So you can actually utilize them yourself within the bedroom to optimize on the sex that you're having with your partner. But instead of partnering with the sex toy, you're against the sex toy.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if you use the sex toy with your partner, she's not gonna say, "Oh, the sex toy's dick is bomb." She's gonna say, "Your dick is bomb."
Right.
So you might as well put that into use the sex toy also, and take all the reward and compliments.
That is an interesting way of thinking about it. I didn't think about it like that. I think about it more that it's an enhancement.
In
And
another word, yeah.
yeah, and that you're using it together, so it's not a challenge. You're both,
Mhm.
I mean, if you use certain toys the right way, you both could enjoy it.
Exactly.
So I think it's more coming to the table and being open-minded
Mhm.
and saying like, okay, how could this pleasure both of us, and not just looking at it like it's something that's competing.
Mhm.
And then I also think women, a lot of women, I find, like single women will buy vibrators,
Yeah.
but you don't see a lot of women in relationships buying them because they'll be like, well, I don't need it. I got dick at home, which is true. You do, but it doesn't mean that, one, that you can't have self-care, and that, two, you can't enjoy something together with your partner.
Right.
So I actually think that, like, I don't know. Anyhow, if you were packing a whole bag, what are your necessities?
Condoms.
Yes.
Lube. Water-based lube.
Okay.
Um, a flogger.
What is that?
Oh, a flogger is like a short whip with a lot of different.
Oh, the little thing. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Um, I would
I didn't
also
know
bring.
that's what it was called.
Yeah, it's called a flogger. I would probably also bring massaging oil.
Yes.
Massaging oil would be good, and a I have some shock toys, and the
Hmm.
base of it, I can use the remote as a shocker itself. It becomes electrified, so I would bring that with me also.
Okay,
Maybe.
you need to tell me more about this thing.
Oh, so I have some shock therapy toys, and
Uh-huh.
basically I can like say one of them is a shock strap, and I can put a strap on my wrist, and it connects to the remote, and the remote will, depending on the level that I put it on, it will send electricity through the muscles of my arms, and if I touch my partner, then she can feel the electricity coming from my arm. So basically my hand becomes a sensation, electrical sensation, and we can use that in a very pleasurable way.
I have never heard of that, but that sounds quite interesting
Hmm.
and scary all at the same time. But
Oh, it's so much fun.
what if I have a heart attack?
No, it's not that strong.
It's not that strong.
Oh, and
Please?
I'll bring some wine or dark liquor.
Oh, we like dark liquor.
Yeah.
We like dark liquor. I like wine too, actually. A lot of women like wine. It began them drunk, or not drunk, but like drunk enough to, like be a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more confident and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So I always think that that's good.
Mhm.
When you spend the night, do you carry a whole bag, or are you like
Um,
drop your keys on the dresser type of dude?
um, no. Well, I haven't, but I would get requests on what I should bring.
Really?
So depending on the request, then yeah, I would pack a whole bag. So I guess essentially I do bring a whole bag. Sometimes I also bring my camera.
I feel like everybody should have a whole bag.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think there should be standard protocol. Even married people, I'm like, y'all need a whole bag. Y'all need a toy box in your house, like for
exactly.
adults, like an adult toy box.
Yeah, I got like a toy treasure chest over here. I got
You,
so many
you
different toys.
It's bad over here. It's really bad. Well, because I have all these sponsors now that send me all stuff that like my mom is like, you probably need to go to church and pray. Like mad vibrators, mad pills, mad. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little. It's not scary. It's fun for me, but my son, I don't know. Um, so what is the best way to break up with someone?
Ugh. Is there
Yeah,
a best way?
question.
Um, as far as a breakup, I would just say honesty. Um, true, raw, and uncut honesty. Because if you really want it to be a split and have that closure be there, then I feel like you should really be honest, because you don't want anything lingering. And this is if you really want it to be broken up. You don't want anything lingering behind. You don't want to possibly bring any baggage with you going forward. So I feel like as far as a breakup, and if you truly want it to be a breakup and you are done, then honesty, raw and uncut.
Wow, that's really admirable. I'm more of the. I'm just not gonna answer type of person. I'm more like, bro, like that's too like I get it. I feel like if people are in serious relationships where they need to talk things out, then yeah, they need to talk things out. But then in some other situations, I'm just like, bro, you're doing too much. And there's no need for all that. So I think it depends on the relationship and the effort and the time that you put in. The people that have been, 3 years, yeah, we need to sit down, we need to talk. 3 months, like, bro, I like you're gonna get this text message in caps and that's it. And that's just my honest opinion. Do you think people need closure?
I don't think people need closure. I think closure is helpful, though.
Yeah.
I think closure is respectful. I think people need to have respect,
Yeah.
but closure per se, I don't know. It's kind of hard, but I think closure is just good. I think it just helps.
Hmm.
Anytime that I've gotten to well, not anytime, but more times than none, when I've gotten to a point of like being total 100% honest, it's boded well for me, like in the future.
Right.
So if I ever come across this person again, you know, we just have like a better interaction.
And
I've
a
had,
better understanding.
yeah, exactly. I've had people that I've broken things off with, but because of how I went about it, another time that I was trying to talk to another woman, then they might have known like that person, the person I broke it off with,
Mhm.
and the person would give a review like, "Oh yeah, Orlando's cool, Orlando's great, Orlando's fine," and it's because they didn't say anything bad about me because of how I managed things with them when I broke things off.
Yeah, I think that's really important, just the way people manage themselves in their relationships, because you never know what's going to come back around.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that we just kind of be conscious of
Hmm.
like what we're putting out there for people, because you don't know. I want to go back to the podcast for a second, and I want to ask you, because I know you guys done some weird episodes and some fun episode. What is the weirdest episode you think, like the craziest thing that happened in the last year of you recording?
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think anything was weird, but we have done some crazy things.
Yeah.
Um, Crazy and interesting.
Yeah, you just didn't think it was going to turn out that way.
Yeah. Okay. Something I didn't think was going to turn out that way. We had Samaya on Sexual Essentials,
Hmm.
and I doubted, because she was teaching us how about the clitoris, and how if you get a woman stimulated and have her come like multiple times, but even before intercourse, is going to go better for you and her as
Hmm.
far as when sex is ready to pop off.
Right.
And she was saying how we had a participant come in, and she was willing to have her pussy played with while we were recorded live, and Samaya used a sex toy on her and
Hmm.
made her come 4 times. Not only come, but made her squirt
Or 4 times.
4 times
Right
while
there.
we were recording live right there. And it's just
Yeah.
like, wow, you really do know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she,
I just took two of her classes. It was quite interesting, and it was
yeah,
really It was actually a good thing. I think more people need to take classes like that. I don't think it should be limited to just women. I think sometimes men need to take classes like that just so they
Yeah.
can understand like basic anatomy and
Hmm.
how things work. And, there's more ways to reach an orgasm than one, and just
Hmm.
kind of things that you would think people know, but they don't.
Exactly.
So I actually think that was kind of pretty cool, and taking our classes was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. So what's next for Orlando? Like, what are you gonna do next?
I don't know. I want to build. I want to grow this podcast. I want us to be on networks, hopefully. Um,
Yeah.
but I want it to be a source of help to the culture.
Right.
I feel like everybody always talks about, what are we doing for the culture? How are we helping the culture? Finance, mental health, fitness, generational wealth. Like, we think about all these things, and I agree that every single one of those are important.
Hmm.
Um, but if I can attack from a sexual perspective,
Hmm.
I feel like it's gonna help people with not only interacting with each other, but interacting with people of different genders and different
Right.
sexualities. Like, we also have gay, non-binary, trans people on our show also, and we can have great conversations with them. So we're helping to, I don't know, maybe bridge the gap, but or just have these conversations with people that are not living their life just like us,
Right.
which is straight cisgendered people. And if we can all come together and bridge this gap, we can all together come together as a culture, we can have a much better understanding of each other. And
Right.
sex is something that's to be honest with you, sex is something that you experience every day. Not intercourse, but something sexual is integrated in some part of our day daily, whether it's porn, whether it's something that comes on TV, something that we listen to. It
Mhm.
happens every day. So if we're indulging in something every single day, we should understand it better. We should be more comfortable with it. It's something that everybody does. Literally every single person indulges in something sexual in some type of way. Why is that never? But it's such a conversation that nobody ever wants to have. And I feel like more people should be more comfortable. Everybody should be more comfortable with having some kind of sexual discussion or sexual conversation, because it's gonna help us with just improving relations with each other, and not only with people just like you, but we need to have with everyone else, and it has to be transparent and non-judgmental at the same time. So that's one thing I can say that I love about the podcast itself, because we have people on and we'll educate people on different genders and different terminology and pronouns and everything, and let people know that we're all the same in some type of way. Like, we've had people hit us up and say like, "Yo, that one guest that you had was so dope, and what they said was so true." And they'll be like, there'll be somebody of like a different identity.
Right.
It doesn't matter what the identity is. It doesn't matter what their gender or what their sexuality is, who they're fucking, or anything like that, because the message is all the same, all still the same, and it just goes to show that we're all still the same
Right.
in one way or the other. So we can all interact, and it's I really do love this podcast because it really is amazing
No,
what
I'm
we're doing.
listening, and I keep thinking about kids. Actually, I keep thinking about kids. I keep thinking about teenagers as you're talking, and how many kids struggle with their identity, how many black and brown kids don't have somebody really teaching them about sex. It's kind of like, don't do it, here's condoms, but it's never really like healthy discussion about how do you see yourself, how do
Yeah,
you see somebody else. We walk around and we say words that are offensive to people. We have to have as an educator, clubs in schools for the LGBTQ community, and but those kids are afraid. So I think you guys doing this gives a space to teach grown ass people sometimes, just to think outside the box,
yeah,
to maybe have a conversation with someone who they would have not normally had a conversation with, right? To listen to someone who maybe in a different environment, they wouldn't even be in the same space, you know, but the fact that they're on your show and somebody's listening and a fan, is like, okay, I got to hear this from a different perspective. And so I actually think that that's important, because if someone doesn't teach, then we just have the same cycles that keep going and going over and over.
Exactly. Exactly. Somebody's got to be willing to take the dangerous step forward.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Well, and that's
I don't
crazy too,
mind.
because I don't really think that talking about sex should be dangerous. It
It
should
shouldn't.
be more proactive and less reactive, if you ask
Mhm.
me. You know,
Exactly.
if a lot of those things were happening, people would look at it a lot differently. You
Hmm.
know, but we hide from it for so long, and then we get misinformation and miscommunication,
Hmm.
and then we have adults that are trying to like relearn this now.
Yeah. They're trying to unlearn, relearn, and then regular learn at that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because no one ever actually sat down and explained certain things to you. And you know, I was watching that show the other day, Bridgerton. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've caught
And the scene where the girl goes down to the maid and she's like, "Tell me how a woman becomes with child," because her mother like never told her. But
Mhm.
that kind of stuff seems like, oh, it's just TV. But like, no, it's just like, you have sex, you get pregnant. It's nothing else in
Mhm.
between there, from the male point perspective or the female perspective, where someone's telling you how to take care of your body, how
Right.
to take care of somebody else's body, how
Mhm.
to, that it's okay to enjoy this. Like, nobody teaches you that.
Mhm.
So I think creating a space where you guys do that is really healthy for men and women.
Right. Agree. And
I'm really excited. I'm excited to see what you guys do next and where you take it next, and you know, all that other good stuff. I'm a fan. I'll be watching. Tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on the internet on Instagram and Twitter at Dear Orlando Roy. You can find the podcast Harder Soft Pod on Instagram and Twitter at Harder Soft Pod. You can email us if you ever have any questions you want to ask us at hardersoftpod@gmail.com. And if you want to indulge or on some of the adult content that we film, you can go on onlyfans.com/hardersoft, and that's where you'll find us.
Yay! I'm so
Yeah,
excited for you guys. I'm so happy for you guys. I'm rooting for you.
thank you, thank you. Oh,
And
we also have a YouTube, so if you want to see, if you think that we sound funny and things are hilarious, then if you actually watch us, it is even
yeah,
more
yeah, y'all gotta
entertaining.
go watch. Y'all definitely gotta, because the facial expressions alone, when I
Oh,
see that, I'm
amazing.
just like, oh
Definitely.
my gosh. Like, I would love to just be in that space with you guys, because I
Mhm.
know my cheeks would hurt. I would be
Mhm.
laughing so much.
Yeah,
But that's good, because then it doesn't feel uncomfortable.
exactly,
It's
exactly.
just, you know, a good, fun, healthy time. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining me on Say It Loud podcast. I will let everyone know where to find you, and hopefully you'll be back soon.
Of course, I'm here.